Hello, everybody. YouTube live. Let's make sure we're on first, and then I'll get to talking. Gotta make sure that YouTube is active. Right now is Sunday, August 28th, almost 11 o'clock here in California. So I don't know what time it is in your neck of the woods. Hello, everybody. But today I got loads to do, Sunday chores. But before I get to that, I figured I want to talk about this topic that's been circulating for the past couple of days or so. And it has to do with, I know we've been talking about Ezra Miller, but Shia LaBeouf is one of the former bad boys, if you will. Um, Before Ezra Miller's misbehavior came along. And so this drama with him versus Olivia Wilde is very interesting, to say the least. So let me give you the context. Basically, Olivia Wilde originally cast Shia LaBeouf in the movie Don't Worry Darling, which is coming up, I think next month, I believe. Finally coming out next month. And so Olivia Wilde cast Shia LaBeouf, and things didn't work out. And Shia LaBeouf left the project before they started shooting. And now, 2 years later, Olivia Wilde is going around telling everybody that I fired Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf got fired from my movie, Don't Worry, Darling. The role of Shia LaBeouf got replaced or recast by Harry Styles. You know Harry Styles, right? One Direction Harry Styles. You don't know you're beautiful. Hey, I'm man enough to admit that I like a few One Direction songs. Okay, not all of them. Not all of them. Chad is here. What's up, Chad? So, fast forward to today when Shia LaBeouf heard, or this week when Shia LaBeouf heard, like, what? Olivia Wilde didn't fire me. I left the project. And so it was like, okay, it's a he says moment here. Who is actually telling the truth? So, Shia LaBeouf had fired back with Olivia's arguments that she had fired him. It's like, no, that's not the truth. That's not what happened. It says here on Variety, LaBeouf asserts that he chose to leave the production because he did not feel the actors were given adequate time to rehearse. In the August 24 cover story with Variety, Olivia Wilde opened up for the first time about LaBeouf's departure from her film. Olivia Wilde directed this film, by the way. I'm not sure if she also stars in it, but she directed it. And this is what Olivia said. Olivia said, I say this as someone who is such an admirer of his work. His process was not conducive to the ethos that I demand in my productions. He has a process that in some ways seems to require a combative energy. And I don't personally believe that is conducive to the best performances. I believe that creating a safe, trusting environment is the best way to get people to do their best work. Ultimately, my responsibility is to the production and to the cast to protect them. That was my job. So Olivia Wilde says this is the reason why I had to fire Shia LaBeouf and recast his role with Harry Styles. Because Shia is too method, man. Too method, in the method acting, where you really get in the mindset of the character, so much so that you don't even break the character when the cameras are not rolling. So that's what Olivia is accusing Shia here. And before I get to Shia's rebuttal, I just want to say Olivia has a point. Like, method acting doesn't mean you have to be a jerk to your co-stars. Like the example I could think of recently, or as of recent years, was Jared Leto. Remember Jared Leto? He got cast as the Joker in the Suicide Squad, and guess what he did? He went too method, man. Too method. Never got too method. Okay. He sent like a box of mouse, I believe. You can correct me if I'm wrong. To Will Smith and Margot Robbie and the rest of the cast. because he's still the Joker, right? He's still the maniac Joker, even in between takes, even when when they're not shooting. So and then he sent some other weird stuff also to his co-stars. Like, dude, what are you trying to prove? That's not method. That's just being an asshole. Um, and I remember about I want to say 8 years ago, I interviewed actor Michael J. White. Do you remember Michael J. White? He's the star of Black Dynamite movie, and he was in the movie The Dark Knight. Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. He played one of the gangsters in that scene in the kitchen where Heath Ledger's Joker was, you know, showing to the gangsters that he has a bomb inside his vest. So I asked Michael J. White, like, Michael, How was Heath Ledger on the set? Was he really like the Joker all the time? And he told me like, no, dude. Heath Ledger, when they say cut, he's back to being Heath Ledger. He was like friendly and chatty. We sat, our seats were next to each other, and we're just like laugh about like. And then when Christopher Nolan says action, boom, he went back into the Joker mode. So I think a lot of people have this. I know that people have these stories about how Daniel Day-Lewis, when he was Abraham Lincoln, he was Abraham Lincoln 24/7. Like maybe, but that doesn't have to be like that all the time. Like it doesn't have to be like that. Method acting doesn't have to be, like, oh my God, don't bother me because I'm not Daniel Day-Lewis. I'm Abraham Lincoln for the entire 3 months of this shooting. So including Jared Leto, like, oh, I'm Joker all the time. It's like, so Olivia Wilde's criticism of Shia LaBeouf's method acting, or I'm assuming this is talking about method acting, about it being combative and whatnot. She has a point. And I'm in defense of that. Like, yeah, some people take method acting way too seriously. And method doesn't have to mean, being an asshole. It doesn't have to equal. One doesn't have to equal the other. So anyway, back to the thing here. But in email messages sent to Variety on Thursday, LaBeouf denied he was fired, instead claiming he quit the film due to the lack of rehearsal time on August 17, 2020, during the pandemic. The actor forwarded two emails he claims to have sent to Wilde on Wednesday and Thursday after the Variety cover story was published. In the emails, LaBeouf wrote, "You and I both know the reasons for my exit. I quit your film because your actors and I couldn't find time to rehearse." So LaBeouf is saying like, no, I was not being an asshole. I was not doing method acting shit that being a jerk to everybody. I just felt like it. You Olivia Wilde, the director, did not give us enough time to rehearse, and that's not cool. I need time to rehearse as an actor. Several studio sources told Variety at the time of LaBeouf's exit that he had been fired from the project, but another source with knowledge of the situation describes the parting as more of a collective recognition that LaBeouf's style of acting was not a good fit for Wilde's approach as a director. Representatives for Wilde and Warner Brothers declined to comment. LaBeouf sent Variety screenshots of text messages he sent to Wilde in August 2020, where he told Wilde he'd have to cut back out of Don't Worry Darling. He was cast as the lead actor Jack, which was later recast with Harry Styles. By the way, I saw a clip of Don't Worry Darling of Harry Styles arguing with Florence Pugh, the co-star. I can't show it to you here because, copyright infringement. You can't show footage on YouTube, or at least upcoming movies. You can't show upcoming movie stuff. So anyway, the clip, you can find it online. It's on Twitter. Harry Styles was terrible, dude. In this clip, it does not look promising, all right? I know Olivia Wilde is praising Harry Styles, and because she's dating him, and she says something about like, oh, musicians, they're storytellers just like us, Yeah, in some cases. But musicians don't always translate to good actors. Good musicians don't always mean good acting. And that clip I saw of Harry Styles, he was terrible. He looked like he was trying really hard to memorize his lines. He looked like he was deeply trying hard to what the hell's going on out there? Oh, deeply trying hard to memorize his lines, and that's not a good thing. You can tell from his facial expressions, like, oh, as if he's trying to look for the words on Florence Pugh's face or eyes, and you can totally tell that when an actor does that, and that's not cool. And you may disagree with Shia. You may think Shia is a bad boy. You may think Shia sucks, but he is miles better as an actor than Harry Styles. When it comes to acting, I would put all my money on Shia and no money on Harry Styles. And the fact that Harry Styles got cast on Marvel Eternal sequels is because Harry Styles is popular. You know, just like a lot of studios these days, they cast actors based on their following number, based on their social media following, how huge, whether they're, how big are their social media following, as opposed to their talents. So yeah, I saw the clip and I was like, oh my god, this movie's gonna suck because Harry Styles is terrible in it. So continue. According to the text, LaBeouf and Wilde met in person in Los Angeles to discuss his exit from the film. August 16, 2020. Later that night, Wilde texted him, "Thanks for letting me on your thought process. I know that this isn't fun. Don't feel good to say no to someone, and I respect your honesty. I'm honored you were willing to go there with me for me to tell a story with you. I'm gutted because it could have been something special. I want to make clear how much it means to me that you trust me. That is a gift I'll take with me." LaBeouf claims he officially quit Don't Worry Darling the next day, according to the email he sent to Wilde. In his email to Variety, he included a video that Olivia Wilde allegedly sent him on August 19, 2020, 2 days after he claimed he quit. So I want to show you guys this video, and this really, what's the word I'm looking for here? Olivia Wilde's argument that she fired Shia LaBeouf crumbled. Her argument crumbled with this evidence of video, which is, baffles me because, like, why do you keep this video? Like, but then again, she sent it to him, right? So he has the evidence. Maybe she deleted it on her phone, but he hasn't. So anyway, this is the video. I want to show it to you guys, and I'll get to the chat here. Okay. And this is posted by people who are Team Shia LaBeouf. I'm
not ready to give up on this yet, and I too am heartbroken.
Let me make the volume bigger here.
Shia. I just went riding my horse, very sweaty, but I wanted to reach out because I feel like I'm not ready to give up on this yet, and I too am heartbroken, and I want to figure this out. And I think this might be a bit of a wake-up call for Miss Flo, and I want to know if you're open to giving this a shot with me, with us. If she really commits, if she really puts her mind and heart into it at this point, and if you guys can make peace, and I respect your point of view, I respect hers, but if you guys can do it, what do you think? Is there hope? Is there hope? Will you let me know? Okay, bye. Shia.
So there's the video. It's posted by people who are Team Jason Sudeikis. This whole messy divorce between Jason Sudeikis and Olivia Wilde. It's not as nasty as Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. It hasn't gone that nasty, but it has caused division in a lot of fans, and now it's this Shia drama adding on to it. People who are against Olivia Wilde, they're posting this video and all this other stuff. I'm not trying to take sides here, people. I'm not trying to say. I'm not Team James. I'm not Team Jason Sudeikis. I'm not Team Olivia Wilde. I'm not Team Shia LaBeouf. But I think it's important to get to the truth, to the heart of the matter, because. And you know what? I'll save my last point for after this paragraph. So let me get to Shia LaBeouf's rebuttal here. So Shia sent an email to Olivia Wilde on Wednesday, and in the email it says, "Man, what is up with Variety and their ads, man? Their ads sucks, man. So annoying. Their ads are so annoying." Okay, Olivia, I hope this finds you inspired, purposeful, fulfilled, and well. I pray every night that you and your family have health, happiness, and everything God would give me. No joke, every night before I sleep. I have a little girl, Isabel. She is 5 months old and just beginning to develop the last half of her laugh. It's amazing. Mia as in Mia Goth, she's an actress. My wife and I have found each other again and are journeying towards a healthy family with love and mutual respect. I have embarked on a journey that feels redemptive and righteous. I write to you now with 627 days of sobriety and a moral compass that never existed before. My great humbling, and that was the last year and quarter of my life. So let's get to the heart of the matter here. What inspired this email today is your latest variety story. I'm greatly honored by your words on my work. Thank you. That felt good to read. I am a little confused about the narrative that I was fired, however. You and I both know the reason for my exit. I quit your film because your actors and I couldn't find time to rehearse. I have included as a reminder the screenshots of your text exchange that day and my text to Toby. I know that you are beginning your press run for DWD and that the news of my firing is attractive clickbait. DWD is Don't Worry Darling. As I am still persona non grata and may remain as such for the rest of my life. But speaking of my daughter, I often think about the news articles she will read when she is literate. And though I owe and will owe for the rest of my life, I only owe for my actions. My failings with Twigs. Okay, so he goes on to FKA Twigs, which we'll discuss after this, are fundamental and real, but they are not the narrative that has been presented. There is a time and place to deal with such things, and I'm trying to navigate a nuanced situation with respect for her and the truth, hence my silence. But this situation with your film and my firing will never have a court date with which to deal with the facts. If lies are repeated enough in the public, they become truth. And so it makes it that much harder for me to crawl out of the hole I have dug with my behaviors to be able to provide for my family. Firing me never took place, Olivia. Firing me never took place. And while I fully understand the attractiveness of pushing that story because of the current social landscape, the social currency that brings, it is not the truth. So I am humbly asking, as a person with an eye toward making things right, that you correct the narrative as best as you can. I hope none of this negatively affects you and that your film is successful in all the ways you want it to be. So the video that you guys just saw of Olivia Wilde here in her car, basically you heard her, right? She was pleading for Shia to reconsider, rethink. Like, I know you want to quit, but come on, can we make this work? I'll talk to Florence. We'll try to collaborate here. I still need you, Shia. That's basically what she's saying here in her car. I'm assuming that this video message that she sent to Shia was after Shia told Olivia that, you know what, I can't do this. I need more time to rehearse. And she's like, okay, fine, I respect you. But then she has a second thought. I'm assuming, this is just my speculation, that she's sending this video message because she couldn't find Shia's replacement. And Harry Styles was not really part of the equation just yet. So she's still pleading with Shia, like, to reconsider. That's my assumption here. But ultimately, of course, Shia left. And now Shia's like, hey, how come you're telling people that I'm fired, that you fired me? That's not the truth. I quit amicably with you, remember? I couldn't find time to rehearse. Now, I'm saying the following not because I'm Team Shia or I'm Team Olivia or I'm Team Jason Sudeikis. I'm saying that the truth matters. Now, here's the thing too, guys. The reason why I've been posting on my YouTube community screenshots of me defending myself as a critic against people who like look down on me or like saying that I'm not a critic, you don't have any business or no position in critiquing anything. Recently, I posted on the community. You saw a screenshot of people attacking the organization that I'm a part of. Hollywood Critics Association has been attacked recently by haters, spreading lies. And And Hollywood Critics Association is the only organization that accepted little guys like me. All right, I every little every other organization in town, they rejected me. They say no to me. They look down on me. They say, who the hell are you? It's like, get out of here. Hollywood Critics Association is inclusive, and they accepted underrepresented voice like me. So I tweeted that to fire back at those haters. Now, I'm not trying to say that I'm equivalent to Shia LaBeouf, but what I'm getting at is that, because some of you guys in the comment section said, like, ignore them, just ignore them, Rama, just overlook them, like they don't know what to talk about. And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys for saying that. But sometimes there's a time to ignore, and there's a time to fight back. There's a time to brush it off, and there's a time to say, hey, this isn't right. Like, what are you doing? It's my reputation's on the line here. I am a critic. Like, I can't just like ignore these guys when they're like attacking, my integrity as a critic. So so I can understand where Shia is coming from, and I totally get why he has to do this, why he has to email Olivia this, why he has to send to Variety all the text messages and emails, like, to prove evidence, because the Olivia's comments was in Variety, in the Variety op-ed. So I understand why he had to do this, because his reputation is on the line. He can't just brush it off. He can't just like, oh, that's just Olivia being Olivia. Like, and it's true when Shia says here, like, Shia says, if lies are repeated enough in the public, they become truth. And unfortunately, that is the world that we're living in. Unless you fight back, rhetorically, of course, not with violence, yeah? And unless you fight back, then people are going to be assuming that, oh, I guess he's not the real deal. I guess, why do I need to go to his YouTube channel? Like, he's not a real critic. HCA, what kind of organization is that? And I guess if this hater says it's a sham, I guess, why should I trust anybody in that organization? So you gotta fight back. You gotta push back. You gotta do something like this. And so I'm not Team Shia, Team Olivia, Team Jason Sudeikis, but I can understand where Shia is coming from, and in defense of him on this part, I was like, yes, good on you, Shia, for presenting the evidence. All right, not just like saying the words, but like giving to Variety, hey, this is what I got. Excuse me. And so that's my point. That's my point. Now on to the next topic alongside the same note. Shia also recently showed up on John Bernthal's podcast, The Real Ones. I had no idea that actor John Bernthal had a podcast. I guess everybody has a podcast these days. So Shia LaBeouf addresses the accusation of sexual battery and physical and verbal abuse brought against him by FKA Twigs. FKA Twigs is a singer. I think she's British. And she dated Shia LaBeouf for a short while. It says here while Shia was filming Honey Boy. And FKA Twigs filed a lawsuit against Shia for sexual battery. I think, I forgot what it was. The other one was strangulation, physical assault. So I'm not sure how that case end up now. I need to look up whether or not there's a consequence or sentencing for that. I have no idea where that is now, the case. But Shia LaBeouf reveals on the podcast of John Bernthal, Real Ones, he said, I heard that woman. Without naming FK Twigs, of course. And then he said, and in the process of doing that, I hurt many other people and many other people before that woman. I was a pleasure-seeking, selfish, self-centered, dishonest, inconsiderate, fearful human being. The actor added, when I think about what my life has become and what is now, like what my purpose is now, I need to be useful. And when I look at this #MeToo environment, there's not a whole lot of dudes that are taking accountability. I fucked up bad, like crash and burn type shit. Hurt a lot of people, and I'm fully aware of that. And I'm going to owe for the rest of my life a long list of people that I need to make amends to. So, during the interview, LaBeouf also admitted to cheating on every woman he's ever been with, never telling his sexual partners about getting cold sores, which he acknowledged was manipulative. Ooh, that, just saying that. That's not cool, Shia. Oh man, that's disgusting. LaBeouf discussed being in a better headspace now, saying that when the allegations first went public, he wanted to hit Twitter and be like, look, I got receipts. Without naming her, he added that his accuser is a saint and saved my fucking life. Had she not intervened in my life and not created the avenue for me to experience ego death, I would either have a really mediocre existence or I'd be dead in full. So I remember this when it happened. And when FKA Twigs went public about her accusations against Shia, one of the things that happened was that the director of Honey Boy is the movie that Shia wrote and starred in. It was a big movie a couple of years ago. The director came out and was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to distance myself. I'm going to put a distance between myself and Shia. I'm on the side of FKA Twigs. So that was a big deal. Like the director of Shia's own movie says, I'm not Team Shia. So now Shia's, admitted that he hurt FKA Twigs. He hurt a lot of women. He was selfish, self-centered, dishonest, inconsiderate. Now, what do I think of that apology? I think that's a pretty decent apology. And credit where credit is due, like Shia said, not a lot of people that got Me Too would be willing to do what he did here, to actually admit guilt. A lot of the people, or a lot of the men who got Me Too'd are still insistent of their innocence. They're like, no, I didn't do that. Like, oh, so what's wrong with jacking off in front of your co-stars? Louis C.K., what's wrong? What's wrong? There's nothing wrong with grabbing women. So it's like that's how the culture back then. The couch casting culture. They're trying to rationalize, trying to make an excuse. Whereas Shia LaBeouf, like him or not, we have our opinions about him, but this is pretty stand up of him to actually say, hey, I fucked up real bad. I fucked up bad. And credit where credit is due. Maybe to some people this is not an enough apology. There needs to be a trial or a court or some legal consequence, for what he did to the FKA Twigs, and I would be for all of that. If Shia gets any legal ramification for what he did to FKA Twigs, I'm all for that. But on a personal level, this is pretty good. This is pretty decent of him to actually admit guilt and actually say, I'm sorry. And the thing is, going back to him versus Olivia Wilde. So now the ball is on Olivia's court. Is Olivia gonna admit guilt? Is Olivia going to say, yeah, you know what? I shouldn't have said I fired you. That was some PR bullshit, man. It's good headliner. It's a good kind of soundbite, and I shouldn't have done that. Will she do that? Will she admit guilt? The ball is on her court. We don't know. We have no idea. But and I'll end on this. Going back to what I said earlier as well. We can agree or disagree about Shia as a person, and we don't know what's in his heart, right? Maybe he has been trying to make amends. I read recently that he converts to Catholicism, which you don't have to be religious to actually see the light. You can admit guilt and be non-religious. So that's, to me, that's a non-thing. So we can agree or disagree with him about him. We have opinions about Shia LaBeouf as a person based on his track record over the years, and that's fine. But as an actor, though, dude, that dude, again, even though method acting, some people take it too seriously. I would pick Shia LaBeouf over Harry Styles any day of the week. Okay, I to this day I still think that Shia LaBeouf got robbed um, of his chances at the Oscars when he did not get Oscar nominated for Honey Boy. He should have gotten at least a Best Supporting Actor for that movie. That performance was stellar. It was world class. If you haven't seen Honey Boy, I highly recommend it. I was like, and you know, it's one of those things where, do you remember? Okay, those of you who are older or old like me, we're old enough to remember how Val Kilmer got snubbed. He got robbed. You know, he did not get nominated for Tombstone. You know, when he played Doc Holliday, that was an Oscar-worthy performance, and he got snubbed. He didn't get, and that was probably the only chance. And obviously now too, now because Val Kilmer got throat cancer, now he can't act anymore. That was the only chance that Val Kilmer could have gotten an Oscar nomination. And I fear that Honey Boy was the last chance that Shia LaBeouf could have gotten an Oscar nomination as well. Because now with all this drama about his personal life, Hollywood's probably not gonna want to have to do. Hollywood's not gonna want to have anything to do with Shia. They're gonna distance themselves from Shia. So, it sucks. You know, just like Val Kilmer's only chance was Tombstone, Shia LaBeouf's only chance was Honey Boy, and I don't think that chance will ever come again in the near future, especially with all these drama surrounding him. Um, so yeah, as a person, he's a complicated guy. I, I mean, good on him for owning up to his faults now. You know, to admit guilt, and good on him for standing up for himself too against Olivia's accusation. I love Olivia. Don't get me wrong. I think she's one of the hottest people on earth. I have a crush. I've had a crush on her since Doctor House series. So this is nothing personal, but you know, this is again, like I said, when somebody attacks you, there are times when you gotta brush it off, and there are times when you gotta counterattack. And this is one of those things where you gotta. This is one of those times when you have to counterattack. And I'm glad that Shia LaBeouf counterattacked. So we'll see. We'll see the outcome of this. But yeah, let's get to the chat, and I'm gonna go straight to lunch after this. Dominic, I'll never forgive myself for missing last night's live stream. As far as Shia, it comes down to, as he says, she says, I don't care for Shia, but honestly, I think his story accurately reflects truth. Shia is a bit of a weirdo with the method acting thing. He is talented. I will give him that. Ledger did some method acting in Dark Knight, but they said he was sweet as can be. That's right. It comes down to the pattern of behavior. Shia's pattern of behavior in the past has been questionable. Baghead at award shows, other weird stuff. Harry Terrible. I never saw him as a great actor. Dude, if you saw that clip, Dominic, just go to the Twitter account of Don't Worry Darling, because that's the movie, the upcoming movie title. The title is Don't Worry Darling. So they have an official account, Twitter account. So go to the official Twitter account of Don't Worry Darling, and you will see the clip, recent clip from a couple of days ago of Harry Styles arguing with Florence Pugh. And he was terrible, dude. He looked like he was trying hard to memorize his lines. Like he's looking at his lines reflecting off of Florence Pugh's face or something. It was terrible. JG Artist, what's up? What's up, my man? Chad Milton, that's a nice letter. Shia could have just went to nearest journalist and showed the text messages. Yeah. Chad Milton, you're an honest, great critic. Oh, thank you so much, Chad. Appreciate it. JG, yeah. I like JG, man. It's like a one snappy comment thing. Yeah, what up with the quick emojis. Pretty cool. Thank you so much, JG. So yeah, those are my thoughts about this whole drama. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for those of you guys who chatted with me, and those of you guys who didn't get to chat with me. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, subscribe. What's up? What's up? Nothing much. I'm going to go get some lunch now. Subscribe, everybody. All right, let's rock this.